Oh, sweet. Okay, so look, I'm reading from Soul Survivor today, probably because it has a little bit of humour in it compared to some of my other stuff. If you've ever watched reality TV, you would know the kinds of people who are in this book, and the word I'll use is dickheads, which you will see comes up quite a bit. And it's also got some, well, we call them drop bears. They're basically killer koalas. They're carnivorous. They are real, so if you go to Australia and you go for a bushwalk, Vegemite on the ears, that keeps them away. Alright? And that's the truth. Absolutely, 100%. Okay. So where we are here, these guys, they've crashed. They've figured out that there's something that's killing people out of their group of reality TV contestants. And that's where I'm just going to leave. I'm going to start. Okay, so the sun had disappeared behind swollen clouds. The fat raindrops that had pattered down with a rhythmic and musical aesthetic were gone. In their place, fierce gusts of winds blew a soaking downpour in sideways moving sheets, stinging the skin and scattering the pieces of the parachute shelter. December clutched fiercely at the one above her chosen spot, yanking and wrestling with the loose end as it flapped and whipped around. Why is it so windy? It wasn't like this earlier. Sally, who had let hers go without any fight at all, shrugged her shoulders and wrung out her soaking hair. It's a squall. It should pass. It had better. They couldn't enter the forest. They couldn't stay here. We've got to find somewhere else to go. Another gust of wind ripped the parachute from her fingers. It caught against a tree not far from their camp as she sat down, crossed her legs, and tried to stop the water running into her eyes. You know, all we really have is an illusion of safety. Those things, if Phil is right, they can walk on the ground. Are we really sure a lack of trees will save us? Not now. The last thing she needed right now was contentious bloody Sally chewing her ear off. Don't you dare complicate things. If we were in a crocodile-infested swamp, I'd stay out of the water. Here, I'm staying out of the trees. I get it. Sally pushed her glasses back on her face. But is it serving any purpose? Look, if you want to argue, piss off, do it with someone else. I'm sure Sam or Robin would oblige you. Sally looked at December and laughed. You're right, I'm just annoyed. I didn't even want to come on this stupid program, you know. Why the hell did everyone think she gave half a crusty shit about their sob stories? Had she bothered telling anyone the slightest thing about her life? No. You know why? Because somehow, even once they'd been rescued, word would get out. These weren't trustworthy people. They were the self-absorbed cannon fodder of reality television. They weren't friends. They weren't going to keep secrets either. Did you hear me? I heard you. And I don't know what to tell you. We're here. Perhaps we should worry about that right now? No, I've got to tell you this. I didn't even want to be on the program, but we saw the ad while we were drinking wine one night. We thought it would be funny to send in a video where we just told them their show was full of dickheads. Sally wasn't wrong. But why wouldn't she listen? Had December somehow missed the tattoo on her own face that said, "Trust me"? They are dickheads. But so are you, and so am I. And that's okay. We're all dickheads. It's why they chose us. Hundreds of dickheads would have applied. They would have chosen the biggest dickheads. Girls, you need to see this! Sam, his long grey hair plastered to his scalp, his filthy clothes clinging to his soaking body, looked like a drowned rat. I've been keeping an eye on the tide. Whatever this storm is, it's pushing it pretty far inland. We won't last the night camping here. Sally looked up at the miserable clouds, black and teeming. What exactly are you showing us? We were having a heart-to-heart here. No. On this occasion, December was bloody thankful Sam had turned up. It's okay, Sal, we'll catch that up later. You'd better let us see what you mean, she said to Sam. That's right. She got up and tried to look for the signal fire on the promontory. God only knew what Johnny was doing, but it had been out for hours. Shouldn't he be sheltering that from the wind and rain? December followed Sam to the beach side of their shelter. Beyond the wrecked Cessna, the ocean had swollen past the rock pools and was lapping at the base of the dunes. I've pushed some markers in. The sticks with the bits of material on them, you see those? Every 10 minutes, I've been pegging out the lip of the tide. In the dim half-light under the stormy sky, it was obvious the first of the 4 markers would soon be underwater. When's high tide? Must be ending soon. That's the problem, Sam said. By my count, there's still 2 more hours till it peaks. How? Basically, they change every 6.5 hours or so. By my watch, which could be wrong, get to the fucking point! Sal, He's helping. Sally shot her a nasty glare. Well, if we've got to leave this paradise we've built for ourselves, where are we going to go? Where are the others? And where the fuck is our signal fire? I don't want to die here. What are we going to do? The way I see it, Sam said, crying won't help us. I know that sounds callous, but we have to make some smart decisions and make them quickly. He looked at his watch, plugged another peg from the sand and walked down to the dune to the swelling sea. He shoved it into the ground. It's still climbing, he said as he walked back. And herein lies the problem. I don't know for certain that it'll reach us, but if it does, and we have to move, the water is going to cut off our escape route. Look at the beach. It's already dramatically narrowed, and I don't know about you, but I don't want to take any chances with that forest. Voices and footsteps drifted from the other side of the tent. Voices were unintelligible at first, but then Dustin's booming voice reached them. Oi! Where the fuck are you guys? That man is such a bogan, Sam said. He's harmless, but my God, he's rough. We're here, near the plane. December couldn't help but like Dustin. He reminded her of a bloke from school who used to make her laugh. Like all of us, Sam, he's a dickhead. That drew laughter from Sally, who rested her head on December's shoulder. That's right, we figured it out. Only dickheads are invited on reality shows. Robin burst into the love fest carrying an armful of hefty branches. All right, there's not much to use in the way of weapons, but if we sharpen some of these up, we'll have a mixture of spears and clubs. December smirked at Sally and Sam, and then lost her shit. The laughter was contagious, and as soon as they saw her face, they joined in. What? What did I say? Robin dropped the sticks on the ground. Did I miss something? She turned to Dustin and Phil. I don't know what these dickheads are laughing at, but they've noticed the tide. That only made things worse. December, who'd been on the verge of getting herself together, lost it once more. She cast her eyes over the other three. Sorry, we were just talking about how everyone here is a dickhead. Robin curled a lip and looked at her with a confused expression. Yeah, I guess you had to be there. She pointed to the pegs. What's that shit? I've been marking the tide, Sam said. We're not going to be able to stay here. There's still 2 hours till high tide, and the swell's already cutting off any safe route up the beach. I think the storm's affected it. Nah, it's the moon, Phil said. Excuse me? Storm doesn't do shit to the tide. New moon, full moon, they cause king tides. Not everyone knew that. Are you sure? That doesn't sound right to me. Sorry, mate, but I'm right. I read a book about a werewolf pirate once. It was all in there. Take it as gospel. All right, getting back to the fucking point, Robin said. Can we sharpen these sticks before we go or what? I don't know about you, but I don't want to come across any of these killer koalas without a good sharp stick. How long do we have to move and where are we going? Trees? Out of bounds. There was a clearing near the altar. It'll be a little shielded from the wind too, Phil said. No, the bluff. December pointed to the spot where the fire should be, where Johnny should be. Hopefully he hadn't been eaten by those things too. They could use his help right now. And then a roar emanated from the perimeter of the forest. Loud, vicious, belching growls cut across their conversation. She snapped her head towards the source of the sound. They all did. There, hanging upside down, gripping to a branch on the closest tree with one hand while the other dangled loosely beneath it, one of the creatures snarled wickedly. It was a lot bigger than she'd figured when she'd heard the word koala. Matter of fact, it was not small in the slightest. Its powerful shoulders and arms looked like a weightlifter's. If it stood on its hind legs, it'd be almost as tall as she was. It was certainly as big as a large kid or a chimpanzee. And a strand of viscous white saliva drooled from its mouth, stretched like a loogie, then snapped, dropping to the floor. It was so thick and frothy she could see it through the rain. Okay, she said. We all see that, right? All right, take one of these fucking clubs. Robin passed them around. No one move, Sam said. Hopefully there's only one of them. With devastating speed, the creature swung up onto the top of the limb, moved further along its length, bending the branch with its weight, and snarled. One more appeared on the tree beside it. Another stepped into view beside that. Finally, another, bigger than any of the others, stalked menacingly out of the forest at the base of the tree. It moved with the powerful grace of a large cat. It stood, thrust its head forward, and roared. And I'm done.